least I know what I'm doing now. Hi guys, I'm Vivacious Hannah and welcome to my video. So for my first official video, I kind of just want to talk about my disease since so many people seem to be asking about it. I figure it's just easier to keep it in one place so I don't have to keep repeating myself. So I'll just jump right in. In 8th grade, I started noticing that I was getting a lot of stomach aches normally when I came home from school, and I had absolutely no idea what was going on. I went to the doctors for 4 years and they were never able to give me a diagnosis, and I always had this feeling that something was just wrong with me. Not like a self-esteem issue, but I just knew that something wasn't right with my system, but the doctors could never figure out what it was. Not that they really tried, if I'm being honest. My mom found these doctors. They're called functional doctors. Instead of hiding the symptoms, they're more about treating the cause. We ended up finding these great doctors at Power Health in Reno, Nevada. I went to this doctor with a list of about 20 symptoms, and some of them were more major than others. My stomach aches had gotten really bad at that point. I had a little bit of anxiety, usually work or school related. I was feeling nauseous probably at least half the time at that point. I would sleep for 9 hours and I would still wake up tired. I would be tired throughout the day, and most people don't even get like 7 hours of sleep, so this was kind of weird. I just wanted to know what was going on. Within an hour-long consult, they already had an idea as to what was happening with me, and they figured that I had Hashimoto's hypothyroidism. And that just means that my thyroid, which is a gland in your neck, it just wasn't working like it should be. I went in a few weeks after we first met with them, and I did about an hour and a half of testing. And after that, we officially signed up with them, and truth be told, it was kind of expensive, but I figured that I'm worth it because you have to stay positive through stuff like this. You can't hate yourself for having actual medical problems. That just doesn't make much sense. And I actually started this program on October 31st, and they started me out on a diet, and needless to say, I wasn't able to have any Halloween candy, any Halloween treats. I was just stuck to stuff that is on the Autoimmune protocol diet. It's nut-free, egg-free, grain-free. I don't really know the difference between autoimmune and paleo, but it's kind of like the two squished together. Over the course of the next few months, we really figured out what was going on with me because I had to take several blood tests, I had to do a saliva sample. We realized that I have Hashimoto's, and that was the thyroid disorder. And then we also realized that I have SIBO, which is secondary to leaky gut, and I'm gonna explain this. In leaky gut, yes, I know the name sounds kind of gross. Somehow there's a permeability in your intestines that allows food to slip through while it's trying to digest. And so when it slips through to your bloodstream, your immune system attacks it like it's a virus. It could be as bad as any time you eat that food, your body automatically rejects it and just thinks that it's another virus. That gave way to my SIBO, which is small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. And that just means that a lot of bad bacteria in my intestines were taking over the good bacteria, so they weren't living in harmony like they should be. That's why I was put on the Autoimmune protocol diet. It's kind of an elimination diet. Everything that you're not on is considered to be a possible problem. So whether it be grains, nuts, seeds, even like corn, they're all considered factors when it comes to diseases like this. I did do well on that diet for a while. I was also on a few different supplements for like my gut and just my stomach aches. After a few months on the Autoimmune protocol diet, I started having problems again. So I was then put on the ketogenic diet, which it sounds much nicer than it is. Basically, I was on meat and coconut products. The only other like fruits or vegetables that I could have were peas, olives, avocado, and orange. My doctor thought that the sugars from the fruit and the vegetables were only feeding my SIBO because that sort of bacteria basically feeds on sugars that are found in food, even if it's not just plain sugar. I was on that diet for a few months, and I will be honest, it did help. And I was put on a few more supplements, taken off some. There were just a lot of moving variables at this time. We figured out that after a while that wasn't working, so I was put on what is called the green bean diet. I was talking to my doctor about it, and he told us that some of his patients were so bad that he had to put them on steamed and pureed green beans for at least a week before they could eat anything else, because they were just reacting so badly to whatever they were eating. And I secretly hoped it wouldn't happen to me, but the way life goes, it did. So he started me out on the green beans and said that every 3 hours we could introduce a new food that he allowed. And we just kind of followed that diet for a while, and then, I'll be honest, I started getting lazy and we stopped introducing things, but it was really helpful. It showed us what I could be reacting to and what I might be okay with. And that's basically the diet that I'm still on now. I can have an array of fruits, vegetables. I can have a few different grains in the form of like flour for baking, and I can have some nuts, coconut. Through the past 8 months, I've been put on, berberine for my gastrointestinal issues. I've been put on adaptocrine for my nausea and sort of my anxiety, vitamin D for energy, and that does help. I was put on dysbiocide, which is for another condition called dysbiosis, which is basically the same thing as SIBO. It's where the flora in your intestines are not living together in unity, and one tries to take over the other, and it's usually the bad bacteria trying to take over the good. I took it a few times, but then I was realizing that I was having these really aggressive urges, like I just wanted to punch everything in sight. And through this diet, I've had to do a lot of investigation and figure out what on earth I'm reacting to. So at this point, I was pretty good at figuring out that this was not just normal hormones. It wasn't just PMS, it was the dysbiocide. So needless to say, I'm off of that now. And now at this point, 8 months later, I am feeling better, although I still have crummy days. Just the other day, I couldn't get out of bed. I did manage to take a 2-mile hike, but after that I just felt hot and feverish and I could barely move. And some days it's just like that, and you just have to relax because your body needs to heal itself. I have been noticing lately though that I'm a little anxious, and I do think it's work related. I just get kind of nervous and I worry about what's going to be happening that day, and I just need to take a step back and realize that regardless of how my day goes, I can still make it a good day or a bad day. You can set your life in motion. I do get stomach aches here and there. I still notice problems, but I do notice that I'm healing, and some people it takes them years and years to finally become as healthy as they had been before all this stuff started happening. So I just know that that's gonna happen for me someday. And I don't mean to brag, but I've been dieting for 8 months and I have not cheated a single time. So I think that's pretty awesome. My condition is only worsened by stress. And not that I'm like a very stressful person, I just kind of seem to take on the stress of others. So my doctor gave me some stress exercises to do at night. I only have to do them for 20 minutes. I basically just lay down with my knees bent and just kind of tap my feet and breathe in for 4 seconds, out for 7. And that's all that there was until a few months ago when I got these. At first I had to wear them 30 minutes out of every hour. And I looked kind of ridiculous at school having to wear these things, and it was really embarrassing. But they started giving me headaches, so now I only wear them when I do my stress exercises at night. And as you can see, everything turns a weird red sort of color. It almost makes you colorblind in a weird sort of way, except you're not. And the reason that they use red glasses is because it only allows red wavelengths to come into your eye. Red is like nice and slow, whereas blue is just crazy. So these red glasses just help with that and allow only the red to come into my eye, so it kind of calms me down and de-stresses me. Overall, I've learned a lot about myself through this diet, so if any of you guys have been feeling stuff like this, I suggest that you go to the doctor and figure out if it's something serious. Because honestly, if I hadn't been on this diet right now, I would probably be absolutely miserable. When you face challenges like this, it's really important to figure out what makes you happy, because if you need a pick-me-up, you don't want to resort to, alcohol like a lot of people do, or self-harm. You're just worth more than that. Don't you want to find what makes you happy and just chase after it? I know I do. So I'm gonna end this video here, and maybe someday I'll kind of take you guys in a day in the life thing of, living through AIP and, what it's like actually dealing with problems or having to cook on this diet. If you guys want me to make a video on something else, you can leave a comment, and if you watched this, thank you. I hope that you don't have to go through something like this, and if you are, congratulations to you. Keep going, you're strong. We all are. I'll see you next time. Bye. Look at how blue my eyes are. That's so cool. They're natural, no contacts.